All right. Quick answer to a short question. Thought everybody should know about it because it's a good critical thinking moment. And a moment of critical thinking is about all I can handle anyway. So it's about converting factor variables to numbers. When is it okay? How is it okay? So, is this a Likert scale? Look at it. It's got sometimes, almost never, almost always, often, almost always, don't know, etc., etc. This comes from our data set here. You might recognize this. I've added this over here to the table, of course. Hey, it went the wrong way. So, I've already labeled 1 almost always. It's definitely going to be the highest. I could have named it, I could have started with 1 at almost never because it's definitely the lowest. Or is it? But almost always is definitely the highest. So it's number 1. It's the highest one out there. And after that comes number 2, which often seems to fit the bill. And then where do I go from there? Well, almost never is definitely the lowest, as I've already said. And then sometimes is definitely higher than almost never. It's definitely lower than often, I would say. And so I would consider giving sometimes a 3. Let me get a pin here and make it blue. So I would make this a 3. All right, so what are we going to do about this don't know? So we're going to make this a 4. Are we going to make this a 5? Question mark. Some people want to make it a 3 because it kind of is in the middle. You know, I'm sitting on the fence. I don't know. Well, don't know is different from have no opinion. And this isn't an opinion question. It's a question that's based on somebody having knowledge. So we have to assume that the people who answer this question almost always, often, sometimes, or almost never have knowledge of whether or not this agency uses personnel recruitment, hiring, and retention practice that reflect the goal to achieve ethnic diversity and cultural competence. Since we're not the ones who designed the survey, we didn't administer the survey, we didn't get some of that kind of feedback. We don't know 100%, but we're pretty sure. So, but when somebody says don't know, that means they can't speak to this. So it can't be a 5, it can't be a 3, it can't even be a 0. If you want to make this into a Likert scale, or a Likert scale, is you're going to have to turn this into a not applicable. Or you're going to have to delete it from your data set in order to do your analysis using these as a number variable. So if you want to do a t-test comparing men and women, then you have to change it. So if you want to do an analysis of variance on some other numeric factor like age or length of time at the agency or how long have they been in social work, you can do that. But you can't do it and maintain that don't know and use this as a numeric variable. So you can still leave the don't know in there and do a chi-square test against any of these other factors, like we saw in the assignment for this week. But you can't. This is not a Likert scale as it has been presented in the cultural competence survey. You have to do some losing of data in order to use this as a Likert scale. So, converting ordered factors to numbers for the purpose of analysis is perfectly okay. Now, there are some people out there that don't like you doing t-tests or ANOVA or regressions using Likert scales. Other people say, what's their problem? So if you want to use it in a t-test, a regression, an ANOVA, it's perfectly okay to convert that scale to an ordered scale and assign numbers, as long as you get rid of the answer that doesn't work. So you can use it during R, you can use it during Excel. I often find it's easier to manipulate my data in Excel and then import it into R, particularly when you have long names of variables or that sort of stuff. But just remember, you have to be real careful that your factors are in fact ordered factors, because if they're not ordered factors, you're going to get some false results. All right, folks. Happy analysis.